Hello, welcome. Today we're going to be drawing a mandala grid. So we need a few tools first. We need our piece of paper, we need a ruler, pencil, compass, and a protractor. Now today I'm going to be using this protractor, which is just a different version of this one here. So the first thing we're going to do is find the center of our piece of paper, and in order to do that we just need to measure halfway on each side, top and bottom. We draw a line. And then we measure halfway, top to bottom. We draw that line. And where it intersects is our center point. So now we're going to take our ruler and measure from that center point. We're going to measure from 1.5 centimeters. We're going to put a mark at every 1/2 centimeter. So 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, and so on. Right out to about 9, which is the edge of our paper. Then we're going to take our compass and we're going to start by placing the pointy end in the center, and we're going to be placing our pencil on the first marker at 1.5, and we're going to make sure we've got that center point there, and we're going to draw our first circle. Okay, so leaving that point in the center, we're going to expand to the next line, the next 1/2 centimeter mark, and we're going to draw that circle as well. And we're going to continue this way on every line, every dot that we've drawn. We're going to draw a circle. And our final circle. Okay, so I have used centimeters because I'm in Australia and that's what we use by default. But if you were to use inches, it's the same theory. So I would just be starting at about 1/2 inch and then going to 1/2 inch and then 3/4 inch to 1 inch, 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4, 2, and I would be doing it that way. Okay. So the next step is to get our protractor. Now this is likely the one you would have lying around the house, and that is perfectly usable. Lining it up at the center point on the horizontal line and the 90-degree angle at the vertical line. I'm going to be using this one here simply because I can go all the way around without having to move it. So I line up my 90 and my 270 like so. So make sure you get that as accurate as you can. Hold it down. So we're going to start by putting markers every 10 degrees. So every 10 degrees we're going to put a mark. We're going to do this all the way around all 4 segments. And the final segment. So to do this with a regular smaller protractor, we just pop that on there, lining it up as I showed. You do your marks every 10, and then you just have to spin it around and line it up again and do your marks on the bottom 2 segments there. Okay. So once we have our 10-degree angles marked, we're going to draw our lines for our angles. And we're going to make sure when we do this that, number 1, we do it as accurately as possible, but also number 2, that we are going through that center point. The more accurate we are at this stage, the more accurate the mandala will be in the individual segment sizes that we draw. Now, I have to admit that I have been lazy in the past and gotten a bit sloppy at this point. You might notice some of your segments appearing a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller than the others. You certainly don't have to have a 100% accurate grid to draw a mandala, but of course we aim to do the best that we can do. As long as you're going through that center point, you'll find that it should work perfectly fine. So we're just very carefully lining up the dots at either end, making sure they go through the center point, and moving on to the next one. Once you do this a few times, it becomes very second nature and you don't even think about it. It might look complicated the first time you do it, but like everything, with a bit of practice, it becomes a lot easier and a lot quicker every time you do it. Also taking into consideration that the grid does get rubbed out at the end, so I'm drawing fairly hard with my pencil right now just so I can show you the lines, but I would normally draw this without so much pressure on my pencil. But it's up to you how heavy you press. You can either keep your grid in the end or you can rub it out. It's up to you. There's never a right or a wrong with mandala drawing. So do not worry about making a mistake. Okay, there we go. So that is your basic 10-degree grid for a mandala with 1/2 centimeter increments or 1/4 inch increments if you're using inches. I hope you have found this tutorial easy to follow, and I hope that it is the start of your mandala drawing journey. Bye for now.